I mean, what's your take on it? I mean, do you think your best friend in life, Mino Raiola, is going to get a phone call soon from City saying, "We want your man, we want Haaland"?
I think a lot's made of the German players, or players playing in the German league.
Yeah.
Yet when they land in our league, certainly they don't seem to hit the ground in the same way that they do in the Bundesliga, which I think reflects the quality and the difference of the shape of the game. We talk about the physicality. It's laughable to think about physicality in the day and age that we play in now, because you touch a player, he falls over. But they still suggest that there's more physicality in the Premier League. When we're talking about the argument of Gabriel Jesus, again, the thing that constantly eclipses what he's doing is what Aguero's done. And you're following in the footsteps of somebody that's scored on average. If you look at the pro rata perspective, despite the fact he looks like he's got a relatively impressive goal record, Jesus in a 38-game season would score 15 goals a season. That's not enough goals for centre-forward. That's not enough goals for an elite centre-forward, whereas Aguero scores 26 goals on a 38-game season.
Yeah, but he's only 23, Jesus.
Sure.
Huge potential.
And Raheem Sterling scores 15, 16 goals on an average Premier League season. So you're looking at your centre-forwards scoring the same amount of goals as a Raheem Sterling, who's, obviously a very good player, but his role is to necessarily contribute to scoring goals, not be the main goal scorer. And I think Jesus lacks... I don't think he's clinical enough. I think he's a very good player, and maybe at this stage in his career at 23, we'll see him kick on when he comes perhaps out of the shadow of Aguero, starts to become the main man, starts to feel like the main man, and then perhaps you'll see him score more goals. But I don't think there's any question that he's a very good player. Haaland, on paper, looks outstanding. But with due respect, so did Timo Werner last year. He looked like a flying machine, and he looks like a dog with fleas now, at Chelsea. So with the greatest will in the world, I think comparing and contrasting and saying, hang on a second, we can get Haaland in, we can get this player in. They've got a player in Jesus who scores 16 goals a season. They want to build him up to 25.
I wonder if Timo Werner's in his car driving this morning, just hearing himself being described as a dog with fleas.
He'll be Googling it.
Let's throw it to City fans, Trevor. I'm very keen to hear that. What's your take on Jesus versus Haaland? Would you be happy to go into next season as champions with Gabriel Jesus as the main man, or would you say no, that Pep should go all out for Erling Haaland? 08717 223344. Shoot me a message, 81089. I just wondered though, Simon, it's another procession to the title, isn't it? What does this tell us about the Premier League here in England at this time? Because City are strolling towards it. Of that, there is no doubt. And they are magnificent. Trevor, we're taking nothing away from your beloved Manchester City. Last season, Liverpool strolled to it, a 19-point margin. 2 seasons before that, City finished 19 points ahead of Manchester United on 100 as opposed to 81. The season before that, 2016-17, it was a 7-point margin when Chelsea won it, and before that, Leicester won it. We all know that. Only in 2018-19, Simon, Man City won it from a 1-point margin from Liverpool. Is it getting boring?
No. Is the standard been raised across the board? Do our teams that finish 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th stack up against the teams that finish 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th in the Eredivisie or in La Liga or in Serie A or in the Bundesliga? Is it simply that our quality is better across the board? Our elite teams become more elite when they win the league, and the teams beneath them? I think our leagues, our Premier League, our Championship, are by far and away better than any of the leagues around the globe. And just because teams are really coming out, raising the bar, and it happens to be 2 or 3 teams, Man City and Liverpool being cases in point, that they've raised the bar and they're dragging the other guys up with them, because I think the quality at times is better and at times it isn't. But I still believe, without looking as if I'm being overly biased towards the Premier League, which has lots of faults, it's better than the other leagues around the world domestically.
Best league in the world, Trevor?
I think it's the most exciting league in the world. I think at times the technical ability sometimes is not as much as maybe La Liga at times. But I mean, just going on that conversation and that the words that Simon came out with, I actually think it's Manchester City that have raised the bar. I think Liverpool last season were able to equal that with a bit of desperation of getting over that 30 years without winning the title, and the season before obviously losing the Premier League by 1 point. But all in all, I think if you look at it, and the last few seasons, it's been Manchester City that have been pushing everything. And, to talk about Liverpool as being up there, they were up there for a couple of seasons. This year, they're nowhere to be seen. A few years ago, they were nowhere to be seen.
I am dying to say, well, you would. Right? But he's not wrong.
No.
they are dragging people forward. They have made teams better.
Right.
But Liverpool did raise the level of excitement and intensity even beyond the level that Man City have done previously last year.
Let's keep this going, because City fans, I am really keen to hear about Gabriel Jesus from you this morning. What do you want? Do you want him to be the main man next season, 8, 10, 89, or do you want Erling Haaland in? Should he take over the mantle? Should you play
both?
Or both? Could you imagine it? Can you imagine both of them there? Who's to say that won't happen,
Well,
actually?
that's my point, yeah.
8, 10, 89 for that.